Hello. Hi there. How are you? Welcome to day one of our challenge. I am just going to make sure that everything is okay. Alexa, disconnect iPhone.
Now disconnected from iPhone.
Hi, Ashleen. How are you? Welcome. I saw your post yesterday. I was about to comment on a mother's group about feeding. Like I could give advice on that. Hello, everyone who has joined us live. Please comment. So just I know who I'm speaking to. Anyone who is watching this on catch up, please type hashtag catch up, just so we know, because we do have a competition for anyone who tunes into today and for the rest of the week. But today I'll be doing the draw from, goes into the draw to win a free business audit. Hi Azaria, hi Hattie. Because we want to reward you, well, I want to reward you for taking this opportunity to invest in you and your business and just for looking after you. Really. Over the 4 days, we're going to cover what I see is really common when it comes to running a business, like the mistakes that are being made and kind of the mistakes that are being put on us. I wouldn't even say they're mistakes that we choose to make. I would say they're more mistakes that are kind of gifted to us by society and by perceptions in terms of how we should sell, by perceptions in terms of who we should be in our business and how we show up. Hi, Emma. And I want to empower you to just build a business your way and to unapologetically build a business your way. And that's not without trying to be someone else. This is literally who you are right now and the person that you are right now growing your business. That is the aim of the next 4 days. And in order for that to happen, like the only way, like essentially the only way, hi Zoe, the only way that this is going to happen is if you only take on board what works for you over the next few days. This is not a jot down as many notes as you can, like take notes of everything. This is if something speaks to you, act on that. If it doesn't speak to you, who gives a fuck? Like if it doesn't speak to you, just park it and put it away. The worst thing that you could do over the course of the next 4 days is to try and pigeonhole my information into your business. No. Take on board what works and absolutely ignore the rest. And that's the only prerequisite of joining. In terms of the prize draw, we do have a prize draw to win a free business audit. Now, a business audit is something that I've been doing with Epic or Epic Academy, my membership program. Excuse me. And it's essentially around just making sure that you're building a business that's designed for success, that you're building a business that is going to last, that is going to stand the test of time. And the pillars or the kind of key things that we need to include there, which is just as a hint, it's got nothing to do with your social media. It is not about how you build a strong social media. It's about where social media fits into your marketing, about how to build products or services that are profitable and in demand. It's about how we look at your finances. It's about how we're looking at your messaging. So that's really, really in depth and really, really valuable to your business. So pretty much everyone who's commenting on here, you have to comment. I have to know that you're watching either live or on catch up, hashtag catch up, so that I know. So it goes without saying that, or does it? Who knows? That like what the world needs now is authentic businesses. What the world needs right now are businesses that are built from people's heart, i.e. your heart guides you to create inspired action, and that you're building a business that you love and that you're building a business that you genuinely care about, versus building businesses that come from our heads and versus building businesses that we think we should be building. Because the businesses that we think that we should be building, they are dying out right now at a rapid pace. And yes, it's really sad to see the dismantling of the high street. Nobody wants to see any business fall away in any way, shape or form. But we are seeing like kind of like an army of these heart-led businesses growing and growing and growing and growing. And we want ours to be part of that. And the way that we do that is to commit to genuinely building a business from your heart. And I know that's a bit woo and it's a bit tacky, like everyone is saying like build a business from your heart, and it's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Because I'm doing something that I love, I've left my job, I'm working around my kids, like what does a business from our heart actually mean? And for me, it probably might be something different for you, building a business from your heart is one that you love doing. It's one that you are doing from a place of growth and not from a place of fear. You know, it's one that when you put in the hard work, you're doing it because you want to see who you become in the process. You're not doing it out of fear to become better than somebody else, to show off, to to try and be a different person. A business from the heart is one where you don't know where it's going to take you, right? You're not going to some predetermined arbitrary goal that is a certain amount of income per month, a certain amount of Instagram or Facebook followers. That's our ego. A business from the heart is built out of what's possible for me. What's possible for me in terms of the change that I can make for my customers. Now, this is products or services. What's possible for me if I show up and I learn and I grow and I speak my customers' language and I stop trying to pretend that in order for my business to be successful, it has to meet an external goal, because that's fear. You know, we see a lot of talk now in certain industries that if you're not earning a certain amount of money, if you're not, meeting a certain amount of followers on Instagram, if you're not doing all of these things, then your business isn't successful. That's a business from the head. That's a business built out of fear. Another way businesses can be built out of fear is if you're doing it for external validation from someone else. You know, if you're doing it to be seen by a partner, to be seen by friends, to be seen by society, that's a business built out of fear. A business built out of your heart is one where you're like, I'm choosing to build this business right now. Like, I am choosing to run this business right now. It might not be perfect. It might not be forever, but who can I become in the process? And just going with the flow and listening to your heart. And when you start to listen to your heart, you don't always do things completely different to how you would have before, but you start to listen to yourself internally. You start to listen to the ideas that are cropping up and you follow those. It might be scary to follow them. And it's much better to follow something that's going to expand you, that's scary, than follow something that you're driven to out of fear that will probably not expand you. So one of the first rules for building a business, there's no rules. One of the first things I've observed from building a business from your heart is that you've got to start doing the internal work, right? It is not fucking sustainable. It's not fair on you. It's not possible to have a business that you're like, okay, I want to change the world. I want to create maximum impact. I want to earn this huge amount of income. I want to do all of these things, but I am going to stay down here. Right? I am going to hide from trauma that's trapped in my body. I'm going to continue to have weak boundaries. I'm going to continue to deprioritize myself. I'm not going to meditate or do things that connect me with the moment. I'm going to continue to numb myself. I'm going to continue to distract myself. That's not sustainable, because in order for your business to grow higher, you have to grow higher with it. Okay? So a heart-led business is us saying, okay, this is a joint journey here. Okay? If you are feeling distracted, numb, fed up, like you're not sure what you're doing, don't go up here. It's not going to fucking work. We have to do this journey together, and we have to say, okay, can I focus on my inner healing? And that's a big topic to cover. And you're like, Jesus Christ, or I came on here thinking you're going to give me some tangible advice for sales. I will. I definitely will. But I don't want to give you advice that goes, okay, business. That's where I'm going. I want to inspire you to know that you are the most important thing in your life, that you are your business, that if you're not feeling happy, if you're not feeling inspired, distracting from that and numbing in your business is like having an addiction to shopping or spending or eating or arguing or sex. It is a distraction, right? So we want to inspire you to be like, actually, hang on a second. I am the most important thing in my business. It is me that runs my business. Therefore, if I have a fear of failure, if I have money mindset things that are cropping up, if I have a fear of being seen, a fear of being heard, this idea that people don't want to hear what I'm saying, I'm going to sit with that, and I'm going to cry and journal and talk about it and release it from my nervous system and just get rid of it out of the body so that I can focus on my business as well. Okay? So that's my inspiration there, and that for me is the most important thing, because, with all the will in the world, I can say to you, go and share your message. But if you have a deep, deep fear of never being seen or heard, there's going to be a bit of a crash there, you know. But if we can work on this at the same time, where are you not been seen or heard in the rest of your life? Where are you not listening to yourself? Where are you ignoring your intuition? Let's work on that alongside sharing your business message. It's makes so much more sense. Okay, I am looking down at my notes, and we are here to this today to talk about like falling in love with sales, identifying your place in the marketplace and all these things. And I wanted to just identify some ways of knowing that you are not in love with selling. You know, how to identify that sales aren't working for you in your business right now, besides your bank balance, besides the amount of money that's coming in. That's just the tangible, like that's like the result, you know. That's the gaping wound. Let's talk about the knife that's diving in there to create that gaping wound. Number one, how you know that when you're not in love with selling is that you're holding yourself back. Is that you know you've got something to sell, you know you've got a business that'll change the world, and you're holding yourself back. You know, you're not looking at how you can market effectively. You're not consistent. Like, consistency is a big one. It's probably the primary one on holding yourself back. You're not mastering your messaging. You're not mastering your mindset. Mindset and messaging are the most important thing when starting out in a business and building it up to the success that you want. You feel like a pest. Selling to you feels like you are being an absolute pest, and that you're hounding people and you're just banging a drum about what it is that you offer. This is how you know you're not in love with selling. You don't have enough clients. There's not enough customers coming through the door. Sometimes the clients that are coming through the door, they're not aligned. And what that basically means is they're not the people that you want to work with. They're not your ideal client. You're maybe not the first choice for them. Maybe they've chosen you based on price because you keep reducing your prices. You know you're not in love with selling if you're afraid of your price, or you reduce your price, or you're still justifying your price to yourself. Absolute sign that you're not in love with selling. You're either under or overcharging. People seem to think that when you don't love selling, you undercharge, and that you come out and you go, well, we know what undercharging is. You're like, okay, I'm not going to charge what I'm worth on this occasion. I'm going to knock down my fees. Another sign that you've not quite mastered selling, or you're not in love with it, is that you overcharge. Is that like you create a price that's so big, you go, okay, everyone in my industry says I need to have these 10K months, I need to have this high ticket offer, I need to have this high selling product, so I'm going to overcharge, without looking at my marketing, without looking at my journey, without looking at how I get people to know, like, and trust me to pay that amount. Like, it's a crazy one, that one. You're more focused on your competitors in the market and what other people are doing. You get caught in a scroll, and sometimes it can be a positive scroll whereby you become a little bit jealous of them, and you're like, oh my God, like, I can't believe they're doing that. They've got like their branding right. They're using the messaging. They've got like these words. Oh my God. Other times it can be a negative scroll whereby you look at it and you go, oh God, they're a bit shit, aren't they? You know, God, their marketing's a bit crap. Who would choose them? Either way, if you're looking at your competitors and not looking at your customers, you do not understand selling, and you're not in love with the sales side. You are attracting clients that you don't want to work with, and that you are discounting to get people to sell up. And I've heard of a story recently of one of my clients was booking a service, and the person chatting to them about the service was like, and do you want to consult your other half about that? And my client was like, well, like, no, like, you know, like, this is my money. Why would I want? And that for me is a sign that the person selling that service would have to do that in their life. So they brought it into the sales conversation. So if any of those apply to you, don't give yourself any stick. I can categorically guarantee that you're not alone. And hopefully what I'm going to share with you today will inspire you to make some changes. And here are my tips to help you fall in love with selling. Okay, here are my tips to help you fall in love with the impact that you're creating in the world. And number one for that is to build a heart-based business. I'm getting that out of the way really quickly. I know I've already touched on it, but it's like, build a business that is about you and the change that you want to make in the world genuinely, not the change that you feel that you should be making in the world. You know, it's about connecting with the why in your business more than the how that you're going to make the change. I don't know if you've noticed, but every sales course, every marketing course, every business course, every motherfucking course that's out there is focused on the how. right? It's focused on, you know, how to get your messaging right, how to grow on social media, how to create a podcast, how to create Facebook adverts. It's massive overwhelm. You learning all of those hows without being deeply connected with your why is horse milk. Because what you'll do is you'll trip over your why. If you focus on your why, and if you focus on, okay, what is the change that I want to make in the world? Okay, what is the problem that I'm solving for my customer, and how big of a problem is that in the life of my customer, right? And this applies for fucking anything. This applies for absolutely anything. How big a problem, whether it's a product, whether it's a service that you're selling, how big of a problem is the lack of my customer having that in their life, and how can I help them? You know, as opposed to how do I create a social media plan for my business? That comes, but it only comes once you are deeply connected with the positive change your business is going to make in the world. And guys, this comes right down from coaching to class-based businesses to product-based businesses. Everything has to come from the why. And so many studies have shown, like there are endless studies shown right now, that the value of the business owner, when they are directly linked to the values of the business, that business is going to be more successful. We are fed up with people creating businesses just to earn money, and we are more connected to the whys in our business. And I want you to look at like the businesses that you enjoy shopping from, and the businesses that you support, and ask yourself, why is that? Why do you go to the local bakery? Why do you buy your product of such and such? And it's not saying 100% of your purchases are from, you know, heart-centered businesses, but I guarantee they're creeping up, and it's more and more and more. An example that I want to use for that is Tesla, and I know that's a really big example, so I'll give some other ones. Like Tesla have never spent a penny on marketing. You know, Tesla built a business that came from their why, and that was to create the car of the future that wasn't going to have an ounce of petrol or gas going into it, that was going to change the environment at the right time. And they have a backlog of tens of thousands of cars on pre-order. They do not have any marketing spent. My local co-op at the minute, go in there and they've got Tony Chocolonely. I hope I'm saying that right. Their chocolate, which by the way, only tastes okay. Like I wouldn't rate that fucking chocolate. Everywhere. It's taken over the world because I know it sounds ridiculous, like it's not like it's amazing, but like if you were to eat a bar of chocolate, any of the bars of chocolate that are out there that are, you know, totally not about discriminate people on the product line, and when it gets to your mouth, you know, nobody has been harmed in the process, unlike every fucking other bar of chocolate, you're like, oh my god, this tastes different. I don't taste guilt. I didn't realize when I had other chocolate I tasted guilt, you know? So come back to your heart and come back to asking yourself the questions. What is the impact my business can make in the day-to-day lives of my customer? What is the problem that I'm solving for my customer? And deeply, deeply connect with that, like deeply connect with it. What we're seeing over the past year and a half is that everything's fallen away. Like we're fed up with stories, we're fed up with bullshit. We're not going to buy products just for the sake of buying products anymore. Like, you know, at the beginning of lockdown, people spent a small fortune making themselves feel better. That's dying away now. We want to know, especially as consumers start to become more cautious, we want to buy from businesses that we're connected with from the heart. A massive thing to consider there is you cannot force a heart connection, right? So people are hearing this and they're going, oh, but I think it's from my heart. I think this business is from my heart because I want to do this and I want to do that. And maybe it's from, and your head gets in the way and your head goes, okay, if this was a heart-based business, you would do this. No. Turn off the TV, turn off the radio, turn off everything and just sit. Go for a walk with no phone. Sit in silence with a cup of tea. Like, just give yourself the time. Like, I would say like an hour, and just sit there and just go, okay, what do I want for this business? What is the impact that this business can create in the world? And see what comes up for you. And when you sit there with that, it's like your next thing is like, who do I become in the process? That's the question. What can my business become in the process? Because the next point number 2, number 1 is to build a heart-based business. Way number 2 that I want to invite you to consider to fall in love with sales is it doesn't need to be perfect. It genuinely does not need to be perfect. We're looking right now at like social media that's absolutely like spot on. Like we look at grids and like, I don't know if you, but we look at grids and we see the grids straight away. Websites have to be a certain way. Everything has to be a certain way. And it's like, it's almost like we become paralyzed because we're not perfect before we even start to try and sell, right? And what that basically means is, rather than sell what we have, rather than deeply knowing we provide a solution to a customer's problems, we get down trapped a route going, well, is my website perfect? Is my social media perfect? Is everything perfect? Am I perfect? No, I'm not perfect. I feel a bit shit about myself today, so I'm not going to promote my business. That's what happens, isn't it? We pull back because we feel like we're not good enough. And trying to have a perfect business is literally just saying your business isn't good enough as it is right now. That's what it's saying. So do not aim for perfection when it comes. Oh, thanks, Nikki says it resonates so much. Do not aim for perfection when it comes to promoting your business. Like before I came on, like I put makeup on today. I would have happily done this with my hair fucked up, but I was like, I need to straighten my hair. I was like, oh my God, I can't do another live. And then I was like, Orla, hang on a second. You've not straightened your hair in I don't know how long. Do not waste your time straightening your hair. Like nobody gives a shit. And that's how we feel. We feel like everything we say and everything we do has to be perfect. And I'm not saying we won't get to a slick customer journey. I'm not saying we won't get to a slick consumer message, but there comes a time when you just actually have to say, here's a solution that I offer. It comes from the heart. I know your problem. I'm deeply connected to your problem. I'm passionate about the solution, and here's how to buy it. You know, how would that sound? Just to say that, like just to say, this is what you're going through. I know that you're going through because of this. And here's the solution that I'm going to offer for it. You know, it doesn't need to be perfect. You can then feel your way into the best social media marketing that works for you, the best referral marketing that works for you, the best business growth when you start to not focus on perfection. And another example of this, where this really sits, is as you start to do paid promotion, as you start to scale your business, as you start to grow your business. If you've not tested your offerings on a smaller scale and proved to your organic audience, i.e. the followers that you have right now, if they're your ideal client, that what you have is profitable, in demand and can grow, there's no point in paying for adverts for that. I see so many businesses and they create something, and if it doesn't sell, they try and bring in a new audience or they try and create a new thing. And it's like, no, release something that's not perfect, test the interest in it, and then see then what tweaks you can make before you grow further. A woman did a post in a group that I'm in yesterday, and it was like, hi, I sell these products. I've spent X amount of thousands on Facebook adverts over the past few months, and I've had 0 sales. And she got like 123 comments. So I was like, just let's not bombard the poor woman with any more comments, Orla. But my first response in my head was, did you test that? Did you test that before you released it? So by building a business that doesn't have to be perfect, essentially what you're doing is you're saving yourself time, you're saving yourself money, and you're tweaking things and you're testing things. And I would invite you to do that instead of trying to get the perfect Instagram feed, instead of trying to get alongside trying to get the perfect Instagram feed for you, alongside building your website. But it's not one or the other, right? You can release something that's not quite perfect, and you can grow your business at the same time. That's absolutely, absolutely key. Yes, and another thing about perfection is that it's a delay tactic to stop you asking for the sale. So many people are like, they're spending their time, they're consistently doing social media posts, they're going to networking events, they're showing up, but what they're not doing, oh thanks Christina, what they're not doing is they're not asking for the sale, because they're like, well, everything needs to be perfect. I need to have this tiny little thing behind the scenes absolutely perfect before I can ask for the sale. And it's another way of you hiding, you know. So I'd go back to what I said beforehand. If you're building your business out of fear, if there's a fear that people don't want to listen to you, it's a fear that you're not been seen, you will naturally by default hide. So let's cry that shit out and get the lack of perfection out there. The third way that I wanted to invite you to fall in love with selling was to use your customer's language. For certain industries, this is going to be a lot bigger than for others. But some prick told businesses somewhere along the way that it wasn't a bar of chocolate unless it was made from delicate Peruvian cocoa that swam up the sea. by itself and then landed somewhere in England, and we've turned it into chocolate up here. Like that's what we're saying. Like coaches are fuckers for this, by the way. Like, it's absolutely diabolical. You know, it's like transcendence and transcend your everyday life to have the life of your dreams that you've never thought possible. And I'm like, I've got an almost 4-year-old that smashed the TV pretending to be Hulk. You know, like, I would settle for 5 minutes to myself right now. And we are putting so much pressure on ourselves to choose language that we feel will connect or will prove our expert status, or prove that we're an authority builder, and prove that we know what we're talking about, right? But in the process of doing that, lots of people are losing what connects them with their clients, right? They're losing the language, the care, the beauty, their genuine personality. And what we're really doing is we're not seeing our customers for where they are now, right? By all means, inspire your customers to get where they are today. By all means, inspire your customers to get where they are, get where they want to be. But you also have to stop using bullshit language and actually use the language that they're using day to day, which relates to their pain point. And I'm going to give you an example of this. I said Ulton smashed the TV, right? Ulton last Monday, now the new TV arrived today, and because it was attached to my old email address and I didn't have the one-off password, he's gone away, and I was absolutely horrible to him. I'm going to get him a box of chocolates to apologise. But Ulton smashed the TV, pretending to be Hulk last week at a very delayed bedtime, and I was fucking livid. I was like, oh my god. So I'm in no rush to get the new TV. Like, if it has to go back and come back at the end of the week, I'm in no rush, because this is his discipline. But I go on to the Amazon adverts on the TV. I don't know if you've seen the Amazon. I'm not criticizing Amazon. Their sales and marketing is amazing, but they know your mind. But one of their adverts is literally of like a little child, and a child that loves a lion, and and then they go onto Amazon Prime and they buy the little furry little collar, and they give that to their dog, and the dog looks like a lion, and it's so funny and it's amazing. And I'm like, is it real life? Like, is that real life? Because my sister's been through 2 TVs. You know, I've seen all of these people who, like, kids break shit all of the time. I have never once seen an advert on the TV that says, do you love your kids, but when they play act, things break. Sell me insurance that way. Like, sell me insurance that way. Sell me a new product that way. Like, sell me using the language that I am using today. I don't aspire to have a child that sits in the park pretending dogs are lions, beautiful and all as that is. I'm living in the real world. So what's the real world for your customers? Okay, what's the real world? Without judgment, without telling them what to do, can you relate to your customers using their real language? Right? Do you know what they are saying to themselves in relation to what you offer? If you don't, do some fucking market research. If you don't, invite your ideal client out for coffee. Don't mention your business, and just speak to them about their lives, right? But you have to start using the real language, because the longer that businesses go on with this bullshit, only aspirational language, only this ideal world, this perfect world, this how do you feel about this, what, fuck off. Come back to the language. And this is for every business, by the way. This is for, you know, if you're selling me meal boxes, you need to ask me, you know, is it good for your child's nutrition if you give them pasta for like the 3rd day in a row? Like, ask the real questions the parents are having, because do you know what's happening right now is people are asking questions to their customer and then they're judging them at the same time. Right? Have you noticed that? We're asking, do you do this? Oh, it's bad because. No, they just fucking do it. Leave them alone. It's none of your business if they do it. They do it, you provide a solution. And how you bridge that gap is with empathy. How you bridge that gap is by saying, like, are you experiencing this? I totally get it. Here's how I help. Not, are you experiencing this? This is what you do to fix it. Fuck off. Fuck off. So using your customers' real language is so key. So look at their social media posts. What kind of language are they using? When you're having conversations with them, what kind of language are they using? And when they give you the gift of that information, use it cautiously and use it in a way whereby you demonstrate that empathy. And the way that you do that is you stop trying to be someone else. the way that you do that is you don't write a post thinking, what do I want to sound like so I sound like an expert? Or you don't write an email going, how can I sound special here? You just go, this is the problem that you're having. Totally get it. It's a bit shit when that happens. And here's how I can help. And I think that is key. And there's certain industries that are bollocks for that at the minute. And I think if you're in those industries, see this as a refreshing thing that you can come back to who you really are, and you can come back to building the business that you really want to build, and not what you think you have to do. Okay, sorry, I'm just checking my notes here. I don't normally have notes. And an example on the speech thing is, I don't know if you guys were aware that Donald Trump would deliberately speak at like a 3rd grade or something level. I don't know what 3rd grade is here. Don't even know what the school system here is here. So he would deliberately speak at a certain educational level to speak to the average American, right? Whereas politicians before would speak to the average American. He was like, I will speak to the average. And what you're noticing now, I don't know if you've noticed it watching Joe Biden, is that like he is starting to use the same language now. It's like he's starting to use like common language, because what's the point in throwing in different words if your clients aren't using them? Now, I'm not saying you need to dumb yourself down, but I'm saying that you have to, in a whole holistic way, identify how they speak, what words they're using, and what they're saying about, the product or service that you offer and the solution that they want. The next way that I want you to fall in love with sales is to commit to taking your clients on a journey, right? And what I mean by that is, even if you're starting off with one product and one solution, that's okay, right? But it is unsustainable of a business to constantly look at people to bring in that you're going to solve this one problem for. It's unsustainable. Like, you would never, ever, like, think about it in practical terms. You would never open a coffee shop just to serve breakfast. You just wouldn't do it. Like, you just wouldn't do it. But I've seen it so many times, and it's literally heartbreaking. Like, I find it so heartbreaking when I watch it, because I'm like, oh, we'll just bring in another product, and you've got them all there, you've got their email, and it's like, fucking hell, I didn't even think of that. And it's like, you have to commit to taking your customers on a journey, even if you only know the first step right now. If you don't know the second step, that is our next job. And then we'll look at the 3rd step. Another problem that people have is they look at the 25th step in that journey and they go, how do I get there? It's like, stop focusing on that. You can have that 25th step on the journey, but let's look at how we get them onto the next step. So what that basically means is your services track a certain journey. Your products are created for your customer and not for you. So they're created to take your customer on a journey. And what that basically means is you don't have to sell as much. You don't have to constantly look for new customers if you can work really hard on getting existing customers, look after them, genuinely care about them, and then take them on a journey, right? And this is so simple, but it's simple doesn't mean easy, by the way, but it just transforms your business, because we, as part of Epic, our group coaching program, we have the first Wednesday, we've started the first Wednesday of every month having goal setting, and we had recent goal setting, and it came up about emails, and I was like, send the fucking emails. Like, just send the emails. And it's like, we feel like we're being a pest. It's going back to one of the reasons when we're not in love with sales again. It's like, we feel like we're becoming a pest. We feel like, I don't want to like ask them for the sale. I don't want to bore them. I don't want to do all of these things. But I want you to invite you to consider that you're saving your customers so much time, energy, effort, because they already know, like, and trust you. Right? They already think they're a good guy. They've provided an amazing service. I care about them. So if they present me with another product or another service, I want to stay with them. It saves brain power. Customers by default have 2 things that they want to achieve. Oh, I love that, Tina. It's like, in our training, we're always told the customer you want is the customer you already have. Couldn't say it better than that, like sheer perfection. But your customers are busy, so the first thing that they think when they see something is, what's in it for me and how can it save brain power? Because they're so busy. So how you can save brain power is to come back and to be like, okay, how can I take them on a journey? So this could be as simple as getting a piece of paper out and starting here and plotting up and going up here. So baby class 1, class 1. Class number 2 when they reach a certain age or a certain level. Class number 3 when they reach a certain age or a certain level. Class number 4, product 1. Now, product one, a range of products doesn't always mean that you present a product in a different format. It could be a different product with your branding, with your thing that the client would love. So product one. And what's another product that they're naturally going to need? So like if you had a baby, product one could be like your cloth and nappies. What would product two be? Well, actually the baby grows as they grow older, the teething products, like all of this, map out your customer journey. And then our job then is to work out how to take them on that journey. And the easiest way to do that is through your email list and to build an email community. And that's why you see people who are always like lead generator, or something as simple as every time somebody comes to one of your events, buys one of your products, does anything, that you capture those email addresses and you email them consistently, right? And we can come to that. We'll come to that over the course of the week about how to email so that you don't bombard them. Somebody recently said to think of it as bookends. Know the first one, then as you work out to get to the last one and get the last book. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. And then the good news is the bookends you can always extend. But commit. In order for you to fall in love with sales, and make it easy on yourself. Don't constantly be looking for new clients. Commit to taking them on a journey. The next thing in order for you to fall in love with sales is to know in your heart what makes you different. Okay? To know in your heart where your business sits in the marketplace against what your client might deem to be your competitors. Okay? You don't feel that you have competitors. I know as heart-led businesses, we don't see competition. There is room for everyone in the marketplace, but how you grow in confidence in selling is where you fit in that space, right? And I think it's really important to add a caveat in here is businesses are constantly saying, or business gurus, find your USP, your unique selling proposition, what makes you different, find what makes you stand out from the crowd. Not all of us have a USP. Some of us work in really saturated, I operate in a really saturated market, so I couldn't say my USP is this one thing that I do. Lots of us. So stop stressing over finding that one thing that makes you different and look at it holistically and build a holistic view, or stack up what makes you different. But do that from a place of your heart, and do that from, first of all, what makes me different is my intention is pure. I genuinely want to help. I genuinely want to make this change in the planet. I genuinely want to help my clients achieve this result because I know it will make a difference. I genuinely want my product to have zero carbon emissions because I know that it's going to do this and that will attract in. Look at what makes you stand out in the marketplace as holistically, who you are behind your business, your heart, what makes you different in terms of ingredients, delivery, ethos, all of these things that help you stand out. How you present it, the delivery of what you offer, how does that make you stand out from the crowd? How does that make you different? This will depend on you doing some market research. Now, if you energetically don't want to go there, if you feel that, okay, energetically, if I go down the market research side, I'm going to get caught in a spiral, and I'm going to get in a spiral that's not good for my energy levels. Do it at a time when you're on a high. Choose to do it at a time when you're on a high, or get an accountability buddy to do it for you. But you have to be aware of your customers' choices within the marketplace. If you're not aware of that, you're going to worry about them when you shouldn't worry about them. You're going to worry that you can't convey what makes you different. And you just get caught in a spiral, and you need to know, you do need to know, because your customer needs you to tell them why you're different, and to display why you're different. So if you're looking at doing some market research, the first thing that I'd recommend looking at is, when you come onto a business, is it really obvious what their values are? Is it really obvious when you come on to somebody else, what they stand for, what makes them different? Because you could have the same product, but you could have two different values. You could have the same classes, but you could have two different values. And it means that value is one of the ways that you stand out in the marketplace, and it's one of the ways that makes you different. A really cool example of this, and I use it all the time, is Snag Tights. Snag Tights, really simple message, really simple marketing, is that, they fixed tights. So you could have, and everyone loves Marks and Spencer tights. Marks and Spencer tights, they have to be sophisticated. They have to talk about everything that they do, and they have to be this. Snag's just we fix fucking tights. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, it can be as simple as that. So like, what are the values of the other people running their business? You do need to know like the tangible things, like what are their follower accounts in relation to engagement. You know, if you've got like 20,000 followers and 10 people commenting on a post, you know, the engagement's not right there. But let's say they had like 1,500 followers and they had 500 people commenting on a post, you know, looking at their followers. Looking at their customer journey. We've done this quite a few times in Epic, is like we have taken a business, not like someone that we know, we're not trying to rip a business apart, but we've looked at it from a customer's perspective. When they land on their social media, when they are the first point of contact, like if they saw a flyer or came onto their website, is it really obvious what you want people to do next? You know, is it really clear? I am pleased to say, not for the other businesses, 9 times out of 10 it wasn't. 9 times out of 10 they had a mixed message on Instagram versus a mixed message on Facebook versus a different way. We have to make it easy, you know, doing a competitor analysis. And if you see that, yes, your clients are doing amazing things on social media, but they're not telling their customer what to do next, you'll have a massive advantage there straight away. What's the tone that they're using in their communications? And what are the packages? Now, the reason that you're garnering this information is for your heart and not your head, right? It's not to say, I am better than them, I am worse than them, look at what they're doing wrong, look at what's happening. It's not to say that, it's genuinely not. It's to come from your heart's perspective and go, oh, how can I uniquely serve my customers and stand out from the competition? How can I genuinely, heartfeltly serve my customers and stand out from the competition? So when you're going to accumulate this information, please don't think, oh God, I've got to be better than them. That's not what that's about. That's our ego. It's about taking on board, how can I make things easier for my customer? How can I have a simple message using their language that comes from the heart that tells them what to do next so I can take them on that customer journey? Really, really key. The next one, number 6, in falling in love with selling. And I love this one because it's been a really big one for me to do this. Like, I'm still on this journey, by the way. I would never say I'm finished on this journey. I'm still on this journey, and that's taking your ego out of selling. Okay, and our ego, that part of ourselves that we've constructed to protect ourselves, you know, like, and the ego for me, and I'm sure I'm not explaining the ego properly, but I'm okay with that. The ego for me is the fucking, what's the word? Cock blocker when it comes to selling. Okay, is it jumps up and it just goes no. There's certain things that your customers don't care about. And your customers, and while they can be as compassionate and they can be ideal clients, they don't care about a lot of things. You know, they care about getting a solution to their problem from the best fit business that is for them. But sometimes our ego wants to tell people, oh God, we're awful busy. God, we're knackered. Oh God, I've got so much going on. Your customers don't give a fucking shit, and nor should they. Speak to your friends about that. Speak to your comrades, you know, come and build a community that will support you in that, because that matters. But too many women, because we're exhausted, because we're not looking after ourselves, because we're not getting the support that we need, are bringing our ego into how we run our business and how we ask for sales. So it goes back to what I mentioned at the beginning of our call. If we're constantly focusing on the business but not focusing on ourselves, disconnect, right? Our ego comes into our business when we're not doing this. So come back and look after yourself, nurture you, take care of you, make you the queen of your life, and your ego's not going to come into your business as much. Ways that your ego comes into selling is that it just ruins the entire fucking process, you know? Rather than focusing on how we solve a problem, we want the world to know how busy we are, how tired we are, how knackered we are, how hard it is to run a business. To a certain degree, your customer will be like, okay, I want to know the behind the scenes, but they want to have faith in a business that is there, that is going to show up for them, right? I talk a lot about being a single mom running a business, you know, and it is hard. It is hard. Like, it's really, 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 really fucking hard. But would you have faith in me if I was ringing you on the morning going, oh, I know we've got our session in an hour, but fuck me, it was shit getting Alton out the door to nursery. So I'm just going to No. Use it where it relates. I acknowledge that it's really hard running a business, and I can see that, and I can support you, and we can put systems in place, but don't bring our ego into running our business. Another way our ego comes in to our business is that it thinks that people already know that, right? It thinks that everybody is watching everything that we do in our business. Everybody knows everything that we do, and therefore they should know what it is that we sell, what it is that we offer, what we said in every single fucking post, everything that we do. Customers don't give a shit about that. Bring your ego out of the equation and look at the fact that your customers are really, really busy, that they are bombarded with marketing messages day in, day out, non-motherfucking stop. And if we're like, no, I can't tell them that again because I've already told them it, they are going to pull back because, yes, you need to tell them. It has been said, probably correctly, that it's from a really reliable source, Donald Miller, one of the greatest sales and business coaches there is in the world, is that customers need to hear things 8 times in order to, customers need to hear things 8 times in order to know what it is that you're selling. Now, we have kids, we have partners, we know what it's like. In order for somebody to hear something 8 times, we need to tell them it about 200 times. Right? But our ego is going, no, how can I make myself sound, more complicated than I am? How can I be a business that, does all these magic things? No. For our ego not to run our business, we have a clear marketing message, which we will cover over the course of these 4 days, a clear marketing message, and we are committed to consistently repeating the same marketing message in a way that speaks the customer's language and engages with them, right? But your business is not a way for you to feel seen by your customers. Your business is a way for you to see your customers, right? And for you to hold them in that sacred space, right? And for you to take care of them. However, I deeply acknowledge that it is fucking knackering running a business, and it's hard. Like, it's hard. Every single insecurity we have ever had jumps up when you're running a business. Like, I didn't think people didn't like me till I started running a business. I didn't think I was that boring till I started running a business. I didn't think I was that shit at what I did till I started running a business. I didn't think people cared about my appearance as much until I started running a business. I didn't worry about, would people not like me until I started running a business. So when I say take your ego out, I also want to help you put into place those things that will support you as you heal, that will support you as you grow, that will support you when these things crop up. And one of the main ways to do that is through clear marketing message and automation, right? Automating the delivery of your product or service, automating the follow-up marketing, automating the ordering, I always look up at my board here, I'll show you my battle board this week, automating your messaging. So if your ego is cropping up in your business and you're shying away from the sales, you're focused on how hard it is to run a business and sharing that with your customers, if you're not selling, if you're not taking customers on a journey, if you're thinking they already know what it is that you offer, that's totally okay. But we will come to that in terms of how can we share exactly what it is that you do? How can we create a customer journey? How can we automate what needs to be automated so that your heart and soul doesn't go into every single thing, and that you can come back to the running of your business? And I just want to remind you, if anyone feels that like people don't like you when you're running a business, that they don't want to buy from you, that like all of these, if any of these crap emotions come up, I can tell you that every single person I have ever spoken to about running a business says those things as well. So I promise you that you're not alone. Like, I promise you that you're not alone. And in terms of what the last way, number 7, about how to fall in love with sales, and that is to surround yourself with other entrepreneurs who will support and inspire you and who get where you are and who get what you're coming from. It's a fucking no-brainer. Like, honestly, it is so lonely trying to sell and trying to run a business and trying to grow a business. And I feel like we don't talk about it. It's almost like to say, and I love my own company. Like, I love my own company. But it's almost like by saying it is lonely growing a business that you're saying something wrong. It's almost like saying it is lonely having dreams, healing childhood trauma. Because let's face it, we're all fucking doing that. Growing out of our comfort zone on a consistent basis, serving our customers and creating a space for them to feel seen and held and loved and honoured. The energy that it takes to run a business, whether you're providing classes or delivering products or showing up on social media all the time, it is exhausting. Right, it really is exhausting. And again, we'll go back to point number 1. You've got to look after yourself. That's your only job in life. And surrounding yourself with other female entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs as a whole who know what it's like to run a business and who will support you and who will guide you and who will take care of you. And that is one of the benefits of Epic, our group coaching program, is that every week we have a mastermind and you can come in and say how you're feeling. And it's just a little place whereby you can celebrate your wins, you can share your lows, and you can do it all at the same time without any expectation of how you're meant to show up. Other ways that you can do that is that you can get some accountability partners. You can create your own little mastermind as well. Guys, let's get 4 or 5 people along the same ethos that would like to meet up regularly to have a plan of action. This is what is the problem in my business, brainstorm and how we can go forward and then take the steps forward. Guys, I'm almost like at the end. I'm just 12:50. We're not doing too bad. I'm going to give you a quick recap of what we've spoken about today. So day 1, it's like how to fall in love with sales. How to fall in love with the impact that your business is creating, the change that you are making in the world and what you are doing. And it's time to see your business differently. You know, it's time to switch from, oh, it's something that hides behind my husband's business. His takes priority. His job takes priority. I do all of the childcare because my business isn't earning what it needs to earn yet, blah, 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 blah. You are not alone. You are not alone. Look at the trajectory that your business is on and sit down with your partner and ask yourselves the question, what is the trajectory? You know, so if they're in a full-time job and they're like, oh, we go like this, we might get a pay increase, we might get, right, hang on a second. If I get a chance to build the business that I love, to build a heart-centered business, to create the maximum impact that I can create, what is the trajectory that I'm on? And then rather than make decisions as a couple on how you grow your business and what happens, you make it based on that trajectory. And you feel as supported as they are, because I know in a lot of cases it does boil down to the income. This is where I feel blessed as a single mom, is I don't have to have that difficult conversation. But believe you me, when I was with my ex, we had that conversation very early on, and that's why he switched to shift work. You know, he actually changed careers to do shift work because I was like, this is what I need, and it served us well. You know, what does your heart want to do? You know, sit for as long as you need to and ask yourself, am I building this business out of fear of not being good enough? Fear of, you know, like, this is what I need to do. I need to make this business a success because I left the corporate world to run this business and people are going to see. A fear of what you've already put into the business. Or are you running this business from your heart because you love it? Because you know you can make maximum change in the world and you know that it's a genuine vehicle for you to grow as a person. So it's about who you become in the process. Now, there's no right or wrong with those. You know, you can move from fear with the same business over here by applying some appreciation exercises. Why do I love my business? Why do I love my clients? What's possible for my business if I change how I look at it? But alongside that, I may need to invite you to have the courage to walk away from something if it's not serving you. You know, but only you know when that's right for you. And I think time is a blessing there, and sitting down and getting the support that you need. But we need more businesses that are run from the heart. This idea of achievement. Let me show you a 5-step process for doing this. And don't get me wrong, I love the clarity of that, but that cannot be the basis of your business. You know, your business has to become to, it's coming from your heart. Only your heart knows what you want this business to be. Only your heart knows what's possible as this business makes huge impact on the world, you know, and every impact is different. Identify how to know when you're not in love with selling, and then look at ways that you can fall in love with selling. Number 1, being a heart-based business. It's your heart. You know the change that you want to make in the world. You know, just fucking commit to that, because only you can do that. It doesn't need to be perfect, you know, for anything to do with scalability. You know, in IT they call it like the minimum viable product. If you were building an app, you would never go out and build the end version of the app. You would start with your MVP, changes feedback, and then have like the first version of the product, and then changes feedback after it's gone to market and have the second version of a product. But women, with their addiction to perfection that has been given to us by society, we did not ask for it. We're like, no, everything needs to be perfect. I need to feel absolutely perfect in myself before I can go out and promote my business. I won't wait for that to happen for me. That would never fucking happen. Give yourself permission to build your business your way. Give yourself permission to learn as you go along, and give yourself permission to make the fucking mistakes that you're going to make. The third thing is use your customer's language. Your business solves a problem that your customer has. Now, that problem can be an unmet need. you know? So even luxury products solve a problem in that the client has an unmet need there, so that's a problem. You know, if I am going out of a night and I want to wear high heel shoes and I don't have high heels, that's a problem for me, even though it's not like I'm walking around barefoot. Stop sharing a message that you feel you have to share based on what others in your industry are doing and based on what you think you should say, and actually use the language that your customers use in, because everywhere on social media, especially if you're selling to mums, especially if you're selling to women, everywhere on social media, women are told who they should be. Like how many fucking times have you seen a post on social media and you've gone to write a response and you've gotten to the end and you've deleted it back? Like how many times? I did it yesterday and I was like this, no, I'm not doing it. I can't put myself out there like that. I don't want the attacks, right? And then we see businesses that aren't speaking our language. How refreshing would it be for your customer who's going through that, who's not seeing her language being used, who's not seeing her words being used? How refreshing would it be for her to come across your business and to see her language being used? You know, not only her aspirations and where you can take her, that's important, but actually her language from empathy about demonstrating where she is today. That's absolutely, absolutely huge. Like, and I think we underestimate that because we think, you know, just sell them the end result, sell them the transformation. That's so important. But if you can't track back that end result to where people are right now, it just goes. It really does just goes. And like, how many times have you looked on social media and you've gone, they've read my mind? Like, they're the people that you love. They're the people that you love. The people that say something that read your mind, and the businesses that you're attracted to are the ones that read your mind. And I'm just inviting you to do that for your customers. Fourth, commit to taking them on a journey. You're not selling once. You're selling, as Tina said, your only customer is your existing customer. Again, if you have a problem with sales right now, if you need to generate income quickly, sell something to your existing audience. Upsell them something. Oh, that was the thing is I went down to my sister on Saturday. And I was finishing off a Tesco order to be delivered tonight, and Tara said, "Oh, we had our club card hacked, and we didn't get all of our vouchers." And I was like, "You get vouchers from club cards?" Like, I didn't realize you got a voucher from a club card. I thought a club card was that you went in and you got like the money off on the club card. And I went into my club card on my app and I had like £17 worth of vouchers, £16 worth of vouchers. So I took a walk on Saturday night. I'm so rock and roll, and like I spent my £16 worth of vouchers on stationery. But it's like, speak my language. Like, somebody needs to say, like, you know, like, spending these vouchers is like a treat. You feel like it's money that you don't have. And it also comes back to taking the ego out of your business and thinking that your customers know everything. Your customers don't know everything. So commit to taking your client on a journey. Know in your heart what makes you stand out from your competition, what makes you different, how you want to convey that. Is it the tone? Is it your ethos? Is it how you deliver things? Is it the why behind your business? Is it ingredients in your product or service? Is it the way that you run your class? Don't try and look for that one thing. Like, a USP is gone for most of us. We're in busy markets. Look for a holistic way. Okay, look for a holistic way. And then what you can do is we can start to add in all of the things that make you different. And people will respond more to that, especially if you're in a busy market. If you're in a new market where there's not much competitors or there's not much other people offering what you do, you can go for that USP and you can really carve that out. Take your ego out of selling. You know, they don't already know what you offer. They're not bored of hearing from you. They don't need to know the struggle that goes into building this business. They need to know the determination to deliver it, but they don't need to know those things. A business is not a place for you to feel seen. And once you remove that pressure and you put that into like your relationships, your healing, it's a lot easier for you. And number 7 is surround yourself with other entrepreneurs that genuinely care about you. That's one of the reasons why we set up Epic, our group coaching program, is so that you'd be surrounded with entrepreneurs that care about you and that love you. And like Christina said, being part of the Epic Academy has been a lifeline. It is so lonely to run a startup, but having such wonderful women and yourself in my life makes my heart sing. Thank you so much, Christina. That's absolutely lovely. And I have not paid Christina to say that, by the way, in case anyone thinks I have. So thank you so much. Guys, that is all for today. We will see you tomorrow at 12. We're finishing up on the dot at 1, so that's great. Just a reminder, anyone that's catching up on replay, anyone that's showing up, please comment, just say hashtag catch up if you're watching on catch up, or if you're watching live, just make sure that you comment now before we come off or just after we come off so that we know. And as Aria said, she totally agree. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.